So you want to get your transplants going, and you got your seeds, but you haven't got the transplant thingies, and you haven't got the soil, you haven't got anything. Well, you can still get them going, and actually this way I'm going to show you is better than sticking the seed in the soil and watering it every single day for 7 days, hoping it germinates. This is much more reliable. It's a technique called the baggie method. So this is kind of a modified version of it, 2.0 perhaps. So you get a container. You can use a bag. I like a container because it's easier to get the seeds in and out of a container. Small plastic container, a little piece of paper towel folded over to roughly the size of the container. Okay, take that paper towel, open it up, and just about a teaspoon of water is all you're going to need to saturate the paper towel. Okay, it doesn't take much. All right, just get it wet. Yeah, I think we're good there. You're just getting it wet. Okay, now you take your seeds. Now, I mean, depending on where you get your seeds, some companies boast a high germination rate. These seeds are supposed to be very high germination. These are tomato big brandy, supposed to be a nice big fat red tomato. And I've only got a handful of them here, so I'm gonna get them all going here. I'm gonna go for broke, right? So, process here is to just lay them out on the paper towel. I like to space them out a bit because it makes it easier. Once they germinate, it's easier to get them out of here. The idea with this method is that the seeds germinate in a little container like this. And then once they've germinated and you know they've germinated, you transfer them to, little transplanting trays very carefully. I use a toothpick. It seems to work. I mean, I've heard people say tweezers, but I actually find a toothpick's better. All of them, I think there's 2 more in here. So the great thing about this, if you've ever done transplants, one of the things I hate, and there's ways to avoid it, but is the soil gets all moldy while you're waiting for the transplants to actually germinate and emerge from the soil. Whereas with this technique, you've got a fairly sterile environment. Let's just assume the paper towel is pretty sterile compared to soil, right? So now that I've got those all situated in the paper towel, I just put them in there, and then I put the lid on. Now this is closed up and it's airtight, but there's air in there, and there's all the air the seeds will ever going to need in there to get germinated, right? These are kept indoors, just on the kitchen counter sort of thing, so I can keep an eye on them. After about 4, 5, 6, 7 days, they should germinate. Once I see all I'm looking for is a tiny little white thing to come out of the seed. As soon as I see that, I carefully transfer it into the seed tray, the transplant tray. So you can do it with tomatoes. Here I've done, this one here is basil. You get tiny, teeny tiny basil seeds. You can still transport these. You just use a toothpick. I've done it. Works. Right? I find basil really irritating to grow as a transplant. With this technique, completely changed my game. And here I got some peppers in this one. Okay, that's pretty much what I started doing. I tried a couple other things, but this is all I got room for in my windowsill. I only got so many good windowsills in the house. All right. So anyway, this is a great way to get things started. Even if you haven't got everything you need, you just got seeds in a few containers or little plastic bags. It's a paper towel, a little bit of water. Set them up like this. The big advantage is that every seed that goes into the actual soil, when you put them in the transplant trays, you know it has germinated. Right? I always leave a couple extra, just in case they don't emerge, but they should emerge. And the other advantage is that because their soil has not been soaked, when you're trying to get a seed to germinate, you have to keep the surface of the soil wet or will not germinate. And by doing that, day after day, over the course of a week or 2 or whatever, that soil can get all that nasty, discolored white crap that grows on top of transplant soil. For anyone that's tried this and had it happen, you know what I'm talking about, the various funguses. And there's different kinds of soil you can buy that boast being sterile, etc. And there's ways to sterilize your soil. There's all kinds of things you can do. But the easiest way to keep the soil from getting all nasty on the top is to water it from the bottom. But when you're trying to get these things started, they're near the surface of the soil, so you kind of have to have the surface of the soil wet, and it can get all that happening. So it's just a way to avoid that. Sounding a bit anal here, but it's irritating, right? Anyway, that's all this video is about. Just a quick video on getting seeds germinated in paper towel. Once they're germinated, stick them in their little pots and take it on from there. I'll do some follow-ups and some follow-up videos as things progress this season. I've done videos on this before. I'm just doing a little bit different take on it this time here. So I hope you found this interesting. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com. Check out my weekly article at maritimegardening.substack.com. And check out my sponsor, Bessie Seeds. Use my coupon code GAVS25 to buy whatever you need for your garden. Check out the description box for details. Other than that, until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.